Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Quantum Recovery Podcast. It's been a little bit before I recorded something. I've been very, very busy with some things. You may have noticed I got a new website, and yeah, there was just some little bit of chaos and some things going on. But I wanted to come on today because a little while back I recorded a podcast on quantum healthy with Susan Pierce Thompson, and Dr. Susan is in the food addiction space. And basically, I wanted to come on here before that podcast comes out. That podcast probably won't come out for a little bit, but I wanted to just come on here and talk to you about what happened on that podcast. It was really near and dear to my heart to record that and meet her. I had heard a continuing education from her on ultra processed food addiction. Now, I have been eating very cleanly, getting my food from farmer, blah, 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 doing all the right things. But that does not mean that I'm still subject to the addictive processed food that's out there. Now, I would also go to the farmer's market and I would go to the bakery at the farmer's market and get the best sweet treats I possibly could. Or at least in my head, I was thinking, oh, well, these are made with organic flour. So it must be okay for me to have five of these cookies. All to say, on that podcast, I basically admitted that I have food addiction and I'm not ashamed of it. And I want to talk about it because I feel like in the addiction space, many people come into recovery from their substance use and they have food addiction. In fact, you come into recovery leptin resistant and you're craving sugar, which is a sign of leptin resistance. Now, leptin is a very important circadian hormone. I'm not going to go down that tangent today, but just it's the orchestrator of all of the other hormones. It is very, very important for our circadian rhythm to have our leptin on point because leptin really is one of the master hormones when it comes to energy. It reads the energy in your body and then it spends it. When that's not working, guess what? Energy doesn't get spent and we gain weight, which is something that is also an issue in early recovery is weight gain. Now, I'm also, as you all know, I'm in recovery from bulimia. So my whole entire recovery has been from both not only methamphetamine use, but also bulimia. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who had the great idea to use methamphetamines as a diet pill. Doesn't work. Still, uh, you know, will ruin your life like any other, substance that, we could be using. And it's been this June, it'll be 17 years. Last year was my sweet 16. It'll be 17 years this year that I am in recovery. And that whole 17 years, like I did not feel good. I have been food obsessed. I was very subject to the processed food that's in our environment, just like everybody else. And I am also taking full responsibility that I was making choices that sometimes did not serve me and that I knew was going against my value system. That creates a lot of cognitive dissonance and a lot of suffering for a human. And that was happening for me. And I was not talking about it. I would just, what I was doing to patch it was, oh, I will just now, okay, so I was maybe eating vegan and now I'm going to eat vegetarian and now I'm going to be a pescatarian. I'm literally giving you a play-by-play of the things that happened since my recovery. Then from a pescatarian, I be I just kind of didn't really care what I ate, but I would do things like the master cleanse or I would do the blood type diet. I never did do like Jenny Craig Weight Watchers, like those bigger ones, because they cost money and I wasn't about to spend money. The only money I would spend is like on a book to read for the diet that I was going to eat. That was going to be like the way that I should eat and like the cure all and would allow me to lose the weight that I would never freaking lose. Well, that's because I was leptin resistant for a very, very long time. And I just want to come on here to say, like, when I met Susan on that podcast, I had read Dr. Lustig's book, Metabolical, and that's all about processed food. I've also read the processed processed people. And both of those books really opened my eyes to addictive substances. The food will never have the process by which it was made on the side of the label. We would love it too because the process by which our food goes through, it this is what makes it addictive to us. They are engineering the food so we are more addictive to us. Now you can imagine for those of us who are, you know, coming into recovery from actual substance use disorder and then we just trade, there's that thing called cross addiction and we just trade it for something else. And many of us go, we go into our early recovery, we're leptin resistant, so we're craving the sugar, so we're literally set up to be addicted to food. And I really do not think that it is addressed in the addiction space appropriately. The one thing unique about food addiction is it is what we call it is substance and physical. It is also behavioral. And when we have an addiction like that, it's going to be really, really hard. We're really going to need structure around it. At least I'm saying that it's hard because I'm going through it right now. I am addressing my food addiction using what is called bright line eating. And bright line eating is a way of eating that and treating food addiction that Susan Pierce Thompson created. And I gotta tell you, it is freaking brilliant. And it is set me freaking free. And I want as many people to know about it as possible. I am not affiliated with Brightline Eating. I am just sharing my experience today. I it is just it is just amazing. Like the obsession is gone because I have structure around what I'm eating. So what is Brightline Eating? The basic of it is no flour, no sugar, eat 3 meals a day, and um, weigh your food. And the weighing of the food, don't think restrictive, because I'm telling you, this is not restrictive. I've actually been eating the best I've ate in my entire life. And you weigh your food so you eat enough food because you like it's a lot of vegetables. But the thing is like I'm eating the appropriate amount of protein that I'm supposed to eat. And I'm eating the most, it's just because I actually was kind of dreading weighing the food, to be honest. I was really dreading it. And it that actually happens just to be one of the most favorite things about it because it is the weighing of the food, the structure of that, and you write down all the food you're going to eat the night before. And that was also daunting to me, and it wasn't easy at first. But now it takes me 2 minutes and I'm like done writing what I'm going to eat the next day. Like it's so quick, it's so easy, and it's very organized. And have you ever been like with your partner and you're like, hey, what should we have to dinner tonight for dinner tonight? And it's literally dinner time. And that's very stressful because maybe you might not have anything to eat. So then you succumb to going maybe to order a pizza. In Brightline Eating, we call it not my food. So we're not shaming anybody else's eating anything. So we succumb to eating what we call is not my food, which might be like, pizza or something that is takeout, whatever. And the thing is that part of it, the weighing of the food has really set me free. I have no longer an obsession, and I'm very early in this thing. Also, you guys, it's only been, I think today's day 54. I only know that because I write down in the journal and the journal keeps track for me how many days it's been. But otherwise, like, I'm not counting the days. This is the way I eat now. This is what I do. And going back to the process thing. So, the process of food is what makes it so addictive. So, when we're talking about flour, yes, you guys, we are talking about all flours, almond flour, tapioca flour, like chickpea flour, wheat flour, all the flours, because the actual food that it is before it becomes a flour is not addictive. Just like the poppy plant of how we make heroin is not addictive. It is the process by which the poppy goes through that creates the heroin, and then that heroin is a very addictive substance. Same with cocaine. Nobody gets addictive to chewing on coca leaves. There's actually research behind this. There was a study done, and you don't get addictive by chewing on coca leaves. They'll make your inside of your mouth a little bit numb, and it might give you like maybe a little boost of energy, no more than like a cup of green tea would. But they're not addictive. Nobody is, selling their life away to go get coca leaves. It is the process by which the coca leaf is turned into cocaine and then the cocaine is addictive. So when we have the wheat plant or whatever plant it is, and then it goes through a process to make flour, the flour is now an addictive substance. That is the bottom line. Same with the sugar. So, and yes, I'm also talking about all sweeteners. So that means stevia too. Stevia is a leaf, and the leaf itself, the plant is not addictive, but when you break that leaf down and you make it into a sweet powdery substance, it is it is still addictive. And not to mention artificial sweeteners, including natural sweeteners that are no calorie, like stevia. It messes with your pancreas because your tongue eats this sweet thing, and then your pancreas is already like, okay, the sugar's coming. She just ate a bunch of sweet stuff. She just ate a bunch of keto treats sweetened with stevia, which is totally something I used to do. And my pancreas would be waiting, and then the process would never happen. There's always going to be a downstream effect when we try to mess with nature. And I tell you, bright line eating is like a very quantum way of eating. And it is something that also naturally a byproduct of eating bright line eating is it will start to reset your leptin. Now, bright line eating is not a leptin reset by any means, but it does do that because of some of the rule, because of the bright lines. So like with the leptin reset, you are going to do some you're going to eat a certain way, like you're not going to eat, after dark, you're not going to snack, which is another rule of bright line eating. So there's certain protocol that's really overlapping with leptin reset and bright line eating that I just love. And I have been incorporating both of these things. So it's bright line eating, and the leptin reset. Like for instance, I don't eat my grain in the morning when it says I actually, because I want to do um we know that eating a grain in the morning for breakfast isn't really leptin friendly, so I choose to eat that my the grain that I get at lunch. So that's a super easy adjustment that I've done, and I eat a protein and fat in the morning for my breakfast. And I'm telling you, like, I am making it to lunch. I used to eat breakfast and not make it to lunch. I was for sure snacking, and we are just not meant to be grazers. In order for your leptin to reset and in order for you to lose weight naturally, you do need a 5 hour window between meals. And you most certainly need a 5 to 6 hour meal before you go to bed. Your fasting window should be at the end of the day, circadian wise, not at the beginning. And I totally used to do intermittent fasting and all that stuff. And now I can like see clearly. So I don't even know what way I eat per se. Like I definitely do seasonal and local food. But the way that I eat is the bright line way. And that's because it has allowed me freedom from my food addiction. I mean, absolutely amazing. Like I cannot even believe how much this worked. And she's got so much science backing all of the like little tips and tricks she gives, like the habits and all the things. It's just such a beautifully done program, and it really does address food addiction. And I think that more people are have food addiction problems than who would like to admit it. And I just want to be here to talk about it and share my story. I am not ashamed that I have food addiction. I know I do, and I know I'm taking responsibility for it, but I also know that my environment and what's available to me in this world right now is a lot of food that's really addictive. So it's also not all my fault. So I'm beating myself with a feather and not a bat here. Like there is some stuff that like I just want to take ownership of because I knew like I was addicted to sugar, and I did not realize how addicted to flour I was until I actually started this, and I was like, whoa, I totally was addicted to flour. Like, is it's a very addictive substance, and it's not what until you take it away that you'll know. And I am sharing this today. Also, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I just hope that other people will hear this story. And if you do find yourself susceptible to food addiction, or you feel like you have food addiction, I want you to know that there's a place that you can go and that you're not alone. That's the message. You are not alone, my friend. I suffered with food addiction my whole entire recovery. Do I still say I'm in recovery for almost 17 years? Hell yeah, I do, because substance use almost ruined my life. I almost freaking died. And I think a lot of people are in that boat. And of course, I'm going to be very proud of my recovery years. But I also know that I was still that loop of addiction was still happening for me in my brain. It was just focused on, well, at first it was shopping, and then it was, and sugar. I was very addicted to sugar. And then it morphed into other things. And I've really learned to live with my shopping addiction, because that's another addiction that's kind of hard, because it's not like you're never going to go shopping again. You do have to go shopping for some things, but I was able to address it. And I just can't even believe, like, I'm in shock, you guys. I'm just in shock that that I have conquered my food addiction. I really truly feel like, and it's going to be a long journey. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm 54 days in and I did it. Now I'm done. No, I'm going to be doing this for life. This is uh something that I'm going to incorporate into my lifestyle, because it's freeing me. It's freeing me from the and the bondage of addiction and what that was doing to me. Like, it's so hard for me to put it into words. I hope you are understanding what I'm saying, and I'm just want to shed some hope and some light around the fact that there is freedom uh waiting for you in all sorts of ways, in all sorts of ways. And I'm going to be sharing more and more about other things that have evolved just in the, recent year, that I've learned since stepping into just this quantum biology space, and stepping into um, just knowing more than I ever have known before. And I don't know why I was so blind to some of the information before, because some of the stuff that I knew, but honestly, I didn't want to admit it, because I wanted to keep eating my sweet treats. I still wanted to eat my keto treats and all of my other things that I wanted to eat. I didn't want to listen to the fact that stevia was still processed, or that XYZ was bad for me, because my food addiction, my inner indulger, was keeping my food addiction alive, alive and well. And yeah, I know people will relate to this. And I just wanted to share with you all before that podcast comes out. Um, but the podcast is going to be like, I had not started Bright Line Eating at that time, so it's kind of going to be cool when it comes out. Um, but it'll probably, I don't even know what date it's going to come out, but do keep an eye out for it. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Susan Pierce Thompson. Man, oh, I'm just so grateful for your program and for your brilliance and of figuring out. You cracked the code. You cracked the code to food addiction. You really, truly. I know there are other people in this space like Acorn and other like treatment centers that help people with food addiction. And they're also pioneers in this food addiction space, because I really don't think it's being talked about enough. And I really do feel like a lot of people who are in recovery have food addiction that goes unaddressed. And it goes unaddressed because of maybe like just the spiritual path you're on, or your, people's readiness to change, right? And it's the stages of change. I did an episode on that. You can go back and listen to Stages of Change. Uh, but yeah, there's just it's just so freeing that I had to share this with you all. So I'm going to leave you with that. And yeah, drink water. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found value in this information. And if you did, please share it. Another way to support the podcast is to leave a 5-star review. If you want to connect, you can message me on Instagram or email me at andeearae@outlook.com. And remember, drink water.